Many people did not have minutes to evacuate. They had seconds. We've seen children here in their pajamas. Some people showing up half dressed. One woman with just one shoe on her foot, the other completely bare. So this is a dire situation where people ran out with what they could if they could. And one of those evacuees is James Bell. He is from Monticello. What was the situation like when you were leaving your home around 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning?
It was terrible. When we left, we could see in the mirror that the whole hill was on fire, and it was just devastating to see that.
You said you looked back in the rearview mirror. Describe the flames to me. Describe what it felt like.
The flames were just huge. You could see it so clearly, and you could just tell that it was not a good place to be.
We are getting ash here. If you take a look at this windshield, here you can see just a streak. This is not dirt. This car was cleaned just a couple of hours ago, and now we are getting some light ash here. And the evacuees do continue to pour in. We just had another area of Napa that was added to the evacuation list. However, I'm joined here by John Campbell, who actually lives in Sonoma. And John, what did you wake up to overnight?
Well, I woke up to an orange glow out the window, jumped out of bed, saw that the pasture was on fire. We have 2 acres, and most of it was ablaze up to a fence right behind the house. And I put on a pair of shorts and shoes, grabbed the dog, and jumped into the truck. And as I went out the front door, I realized that the fire was surrounding us, basically, and across the road. This kind of a main highway there, Napa Road, and fled, honking the horn as I went past the neighbors, hoping to rouse them. I couldn't stop. It was very smoky and very hot.
I understand you came here, you looked inside of the shelter, you saw the cots, but you and your husband decided instead to spend the night in your truck. Why was that?
We saw people that needed it more. We saw the volunteers just working their hearts out. We didn't want to be a part of the problem. So yeah, we're fine. We're able. We have water. We have protein bars, and we saw these people that really needed help, and we felt that if they needed us, we could help them, but we didn't need the help.
A couple of changes here. First of all, officials are advising all of the evacuees to wear these masks whenever they come outside, just because the air quality around here is so bad, and it does help with breathing. A lot of people I've talked to have complained of scratchy throats, tightness in their chest, just what you would expect with so much smoke in the air. The other thing that we just noticed within the past couple of minutes is that cell service has pretty much gone to zero. So we don't know how many of the different cell phone towers have been knocked out by the fire, but I've tried repeatedly to call back to the station to send emails, and it is not happening at all. So if you are out there trying to reach a loved one in the Napa area and you cannot get a hold of them, that could be one of the reasons. Cell phone service is very, very bad here right now, to the point where I'd say it's almost non-existent. Many of the people inside the town hall were weary with worry and numb with loss.
All I got out was my kitten and my little dog.
It's been an emotional week for Goldie Petrie and her daughter. They moved repeatedly to escape new evacuation notices. Now she wants to hear just one thing:
that we're all going to get some help, I guess.
Governor Brown surveyed the destruction from helicopter and on foot. He told the crowd help will arrive.
Everything that can be done, that I can make happen, will happen.
He was met with enthusiastic applause, but his optimistic statement didn't satisfy everyone. Many want to know specifics like, where do you get your mail? How do you get permits to rebuild? And what do you need to get a new driver's license?
If you go online, it's like November before you can get an appointment at the DMV, and I'm not quite sure what they're going to require in terms of being able to prove your identification.
Others had more intangible and perhaps impossible questions, like when will the fires stop and the recovery begin?
That's the big question, and nobody knows. I just hope that between the politicians, our cities, and all of these wonderful people, that it'll be soon.
make it happen.
Small glimmer of good news in all of these acres of ash and rubble. Firefighters were able to walk the Coffee Park neighborhood looking for hot spots. They tell me they did not find any. In Santa Rosa, Tiffany Wilson, ABC 7 News. It has been a day filled with both signs of progress and those of continued danger. Here in Calistoga, there was a line of cars waiting to re-enter as they lifted the evacuation order around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Families were nearly giddy with excitement, telling us they wanted to kiss the ground and thank first responders for saving their houses. But just a few miles away, danger still looms. Flashes of fire crackled under dense clouds of smoke in the hills overlooking Highway 29. Helicopters swung across the sky, dropping loads of water, trying to stop the march of flames. Ed Hudson and his friends watched the aerial onslaught from below.
Honestly, at this point, the whole thing's a bit surreal.
They worked together to cut a fire line and rig up a sprinkler system.
He might be the only one claiming flood insurance after this.
The stress and sleepless nights have taken a toll.
I think once the helicopters go, I think that's when it's really going to set in that this has all happened. Right now, you're just in it and you're doing it.
He's one of many worried about the region's economy. Wineries like Robert Mondavi are closed and employees don't know when they'll work again.
It's been only a week. It seems like it's been a month of this. It's just every day has been full of emotion.
Firefighters are also feeling the effects of long nights on the front line. Today, the calm winds help them gain the upper hand.
Unless something changes, I think that you're going to start to see those containment percentages go higher and higher every day.
That sense of optimism is evident at Gott's Roadside in Rutherford.
Hello, how are you?
The restaurant started taking orders again today.
It's been really nice to kind of reopen and get back to a little bit of normalcy.
Customers say they came to Gott's for a burger and found a sense of comfort as well.
It gives us the kind of the reassurance and the feeling that things are going to start to improve.
This is a live look at downtown Calistoga. It is quiet, but we have seen some signs of activity, people walking down the sidewalks. And although that mandatory evacuation order was lifted, officers are still checking people's IDs as they enter to go back home. We will have much more on those families who are returning home coming up live at 6 o'clock. In Calistoga, Tiffany Wilson, ABC 7 News.